Bum, bum, bum. I love that intro. What's going on, guys? What's going on, Brett? Especially. Let's go. Let's go. Let me know if you could hear me okay. Let me know if you could see me okay. I'm in the little corner. I could make myself big and say hello. But you guys are here for charts, so I think it's better if I make myself little in a viewing sense. Okay. Never make yourself smaller than what you are. All right. Motivational Lewis coming at you. So first things first, I am going to continue the series that we have been basically doing this entire time, where if I share the screen for you right here, you could see I have the master indicator that I've been building out for, I don't know, what is this, number 4, number 5 now, the live stream. And yeah, so this master indicator basically is collecting all of these different metrics and putting it into one single dashboard that I could look at. So things like dominance levels, Bitcoin dominance, USDT dominance, altcoin dominance, and I just added USDC dominance as well. If you want to know about the dominance levels, that was last stream, so you could check that out, especially USDT dominance specifically. And then USDC dominance is pretty much the same exact thing, so we don't necessarily really need to to go over it too much. But yes, I did recharge my Opus, and so it is pretty full. I mean, you never really know with these things whether it's going to just immediately use up all of your credits or not. But hopefully it doesn't. And honestly, if it keeps on doing it, if it does, then I'll just upgrade to the max plan and just keep on going. But yeah, this is what we got. We got all of these different things. The dominance levels. I have the MVRVZ score for the on-chain metric. I'm going to also add a lot more on-chain metrics, of course. We got market cycle timing, drawdowns, and market structure. So today, it's really, we could add whatever we want, essentially. So I'm considering to either add the total, like total market cap, or to add the RSI, specifically looking for weekly RSIs, or to add the, what do you call it? Bitcoin 200-week moving average, and also the 300-week moving average and exponential moving averages. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on what you would want to see. Just let me know. But if we don't, I think the most logical step would probably be doing total, because it's it has to do with the actual candles on the chart as opposed to indicators. Although the indicators, RSI, the moving averages, those are very clear cut. It's very clear cut that when we fall underneath the 200-week moving average on Bitcoin, that's a good buying opportunity, right? It's very clear that if we fall underneath the 300-week moving average, it's a very good buying opportunity, right? So we have those, but I think, you know what? Yeah, I don't know. I sort of want to do all of them right now. This is the brain of someone with ADHD. But I think what I'll do, because it makes more sense for you guys, or it just makes it's more important, is I'll do the total crypto market cap. So the reason why I'll do this is because when you're thinking about trading, okay, when you're thinking about the markets, whether you should go in, whether you should go out, whatever, there's a lot of different things that you could look at, right? You look at the price, you look at the indicators, you look at the fundamentals, you look at all these things, right? And within that, the on-chain data, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things that I've used in my analysis for almost a decade now, which has helped me call tops and bottoms as well, is to use the total market cap and to look at the candles on the charts. And I read this book. It was called Naked Trading, I believe. amazing book. I'll probably reread it, to be honest. And it basically just talks about candlesticks and teaches you everything that you need to know about candlesticks and candlestick patterns and stuff. And honestly, it's like you need to go over the chart first and then add in the indicators. So might as well go over the chart. So with that, I'll do the total because I do believe that if we go back to the master indicator, there's really I don't have the total market cap yet. So it says the remaining ones from my original list that I put out are total market cap, total two, and then some other ones. So I'll just go over the total market cap and I'll explain to you my thesis, what I look for, and how I'm playing it all. Okay. So first off, before going into the actual like market cap, the one thing that is on here that I do have, which is important, that I'm really basing most of my analysis on, most of my investing thesis on, essentially, is the market cycle timing. So because of that, if you click on it, or if I click on it, because you can't really click on it right now, I'll zoom in as well just to show you what it says. But actually, it's a little hard to understand. But basically, it's saying that since the Bitcoin days since BTC bottom, which was November 21, 2022, right? And then the projected bottom, which is October of 2026, that is 1,434 days. And it's only been 1,256 days, right? So there's still, it's 88% completed according to what the previous cycles have done, right? So because of that, I am still in my mind thinking like, hey, maybe it's not the best time to buy yet because there's still some days, there's still around 200 days or so before the projected, bottom is in. And so historically, the bottom to bottom takes around 1,400 days, right? And it's like 1,200 days. So it's about 200 days, right? So we're getting there. We are getting there. The bottom should be in this year, and it should be in within, 6 months, 7 months, right? Which is not that long at all. And it's probably going to be even sooner than that, potentially. So I look at that. And that's sort of where I base a lot of my analysis on, because I don't like why go in super heavy with everything you have if like when there's still basically indecision, when there's a lot of indecision, right? But it's like back here in October, November 2022, even January 2023, February 2023, this whole area down here, this whole area in the bottom, that was, the same amount of days. That was the 4-year cycle bottom. That was the time of where the 4-year cycle bottom should have been. So it lined up. So personally, I'm still playing it as if the 4-year cycle is going to happen, is still on, because that is what I use to sell the top up here. Like I use the 4-year cycle. Like that's what these green lines are right here, basically. Although actually I think I changed it because it was late September. It was literally like, it was back, I think it was like, I don't know, somewhere around here where I was like, yeah, this is the time where the top should be in. And that was based off the 4-year cycle, which was the same exact thing that happened in 2021, right? So that's just generally speaking what I'm saying. Now, obviously, we could just rock it up. Who knows? But I'm just saying, why not? If you're going to be going in with a lot of money, then why not like wait until everything is in your favor, including the most fundamental thing that has happened since Bitcoin's history. Yeah, like since Bitcoin's inception. Makes sense to me. Unless we have some crazy news come out. But I think all the crazy news already came out. Like Trump was really the big one that was the craziest thing, and that was 2024 and 2025. So I'm still waiting to say like, hey, the bottom's in. I still don't think the bottom is in. All right. That was a long rant. Now let's go to the actual charts and the total market cap. So what do I do when I look at the total market cap? Well, I look at a lot of things. One of the main things that I do is you look at the Fibonacci, and I do that because if you go back, right, if you go back to 2018 and you take the Fibonacci from the bottom of the market, which was like the very start of the bull market, which was in 2016 essentially, and you take it all the way up to the very top. Okay, well, if you look at this, if you look at the Fibonacci, and I'll zoom out a little bit more. If you look at the Fibonacci, the negative 261.8%, that was at 2.73 trillion. And if you zoom to the right, that's exactly where, like, not exactly, but like that's pretty much where we topped out. That's essentially where we topped out in the next, cycle in 2021. So I am doing the same thing. I take the Fibonacci from the 2021 bottom, okay, to the 2021 top, and then I look and I say, all right, well, where can we, potentially, top out this cycle? And I looked at here, I looked at the negative 23.6, and I looked at the negative 50%, and I also took the Fibonacci from the top to the bottom, from the top of 2021 to the bottom of 2022, and looked at the Fibonacci there. And I had a real lot of confluence around like basically 4.38 to 4.45 trillion dollars, like this whole area right here. You can see that this is like the negative 50%. This is the negative 161.8%. Sorry, not negative, but just the 161.8%. It's also the 127%. It's just like a lot of Fibonacci's. And I knew you were going to say that, dude. I knew you were going to say that. I was going to say it. But yeah, so anyway, this is why like I was like super cautious like as we were addressing this up here. So the other thing that I want to do now is, okay, well, we know that, October 2025 was the top, right? So what if we take the Fibonacci from close to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top? What would that say? So if we take it from the actual bottom, like the bottom in December, then that works. I don't know why. Honestly, I'm looking at it like from here. I'm like, this works, but like you could take it from the bottom. You could actually take it from the bottom. And so if you take it from the bottom and you look at it and you could see here's the Fibonacci. Actually, this is pretty crazy. Look at this. Let's zoom in here. Look at this. This is that golden ratio right here, the 61.8. And look at where the market bottomed. It bottomed right there. I don't know if you could see this wick. Now you could see the wick. This is literally the actual bottom of like that bottomed in February, right? So this is how powerful using the Fibonacci is. You can just use the Fibonacci, and that's why I love it so much. So looking at this, one thing that I do see is that it bounced from the 61.8. Obviously it bounced to 61.8. So where do I think it's going to bounce to? Well, typically when an asset does bounce from the 61.8, it goes up to the 38.2, which is right there. And so that's why I have these red lines. So I do think it's gonna come up here. But then eventually, like I said, because the timing cycle it has not played out yet, I do think it's going to fall back lower. And personally, I don't know. I think it's either going to go back to the 61.8 golden ratio and just bottom out there, or potentially even go all the way down to the 78.6, which is, I mean, if we're taking it's really down here. So these are two areas that I would be looking at. Definitely for where I think the total market cap could go. And yeah, I mean, that's what I really like. And then I also, when I take it from here, I think the reason why I took it from there is because if you go to the daily, if you do go to the daily, there's the 61.8. Like that is like we did bounce from here multiple times. So I look at that, but I'm looking at the 38.2, and the 38.2 did not have that bounce. So if we go back and we actually do take it from the bottom, you could see hopefully the 38.2 also align. And I mean, yeah, the 38.2 pretty much lines up. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep it down here. Honestly, I think I'm going to keep it down here. So this is going to be like what I want to do, right? And so what I'll do is I'll say on the master indicator, I'll say let's do the total market cap. I have a few areas that I want to plot out as bullish and bearish. All right, if we click on that, let's see what Master Opus comes up with. Okay, so let me get the current value first. What's the total market cap showing on TradingView right now? Then give me your zones. All right, so I'll say right now the total market cap is displaying 2.52 trillion. Okay, and let's see what he put in. All right, go ahead and give me your zones. You mentioned earlier certain things. What are all of your levels? All right, so let's go back over here and I'll say the level that is red, that is dangerous, is the zone between 2.84 trillion and 2.99 trillion. The green zone that is really good is between 2.01 and 2.15 trillion. And then the other green zone that is an absolute buy, just sell everything you have and buy Bitcoin, is if the total market cap falls below 1.56 trillion. All right, so let's see what you got there. And also, I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to bring this down to reflect what I just said, because this is the area that's now the ideal buy zone, the next ideal buy zone. And then this is pretty much, I'm going to say, I mean, I already wrote it here. Last cycle low, go all in BTC here, put in as much as possible. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Even though this, yeah, that's what I'll do. All right, so let's see what it said. It said, clear, here's your total market cap zones. Color green below 1.56 trillion, green 2.01 to 2.15 trillion, red 2.84 trillion to 2.99 trillion. That's the danger zone. And yeah, that basically makes sense. This is what I want to do. Now it asks, before I add this, a couple of questions. Do you have any other zones? You mentioned 4.2 to 4.5 trillion is another danger zone. So I do have, so it's like, yeah, I do have some zones, but the 4.2, like that was literally, that was already hit. So there's not really a point of putting that in there right now. I would have to wait. And because I think that I mean, it's pretty obvious the market's not going to come back up here, you know, and if it does come all the way back up there, it's not going to fall all the way back down if it is, because this probably means that it's a bull market again. So I do think that it's going to create a lower high, and then you know, end up falling back down. So yeah, there's no point in doing it. So I'll just say that's it for now, and I will just add more later. And the range between 2.15 and 2.84. So what about the range between 2.15 and 2.84 where we are now? So that's not really anything. So if I go back here, 2.15, which is right there, and 2.84, which is right there, it's asking like, what about inside of this range? And this is a lesson that I am going to bestow upon anyone that's watching right now, which is that you don't have to trade every single day, and your life will be a lot less complicated, and you'll put on a lot better trade setups and have a much higher win rate and much higher probability trades if you just put trades on within your ideal areas of interest instead of just like instead of saying like, I have to trade here, I have to trade here, I have to trade here. Like these areas this area down here and this area up here, these are really, really, really good areas of interest from my perspective. So if it comes into these areas, like I absolutely want to be trading within these two areas. But if it's in between, then there's not really a point of trading, right? It's like, I mean, there is a point of trading for sure, but it just complicates things. It makes things harder. Things are a lot easier if you just wait until it's in a big support or in a big resistance. But I mean, if you like to trade, and this goes for every single time frame as well. Obviously, this goes for every single time frame. So you could go to the 4-hour time frame and say, like, hey, look, it hit here and it hit here. So if it comes back up, then I'm gonna short it. And lo and behold, look, it like came back up, and you could have shorted it like right there and then made some profit. And that's an option as well. Like it doesn't matter what time frame you're on. But what I would suggest is that let's say that we're in between here and we're in between here, and I'll zoom in for you. Let's say like this is the chart, right? And we're right around here. Let's say like where are we? Let's say we're like right here. Okay. Well, I mean, you don't have to be trade. Like you could just not take a trade. You could literally just wait until the price comes down into this zone. Okay. It's not going to take that long to do that. And then you could put on a long position, at the bottom, because that's where the second bottom was. And same thing, up here. Like you could wait until it comes back up into this zone, back up to here to put on a trade. And so you'll miss this right here, and but you'll get in here, and then you'll make this entire move. So I don't know. It's just like I used to rush trades. I used to rush into trades. I used to feel like I had to trade every single day. I used to feel like I had to get in, and I was having FOMO and I was missing out on stuff. But now I just wait. I plot my levels out. I chill, and it's not that big a deal, and I just wait. So with that, and my win rate is phenomenal. I probably quadrupled my win rate, probably more, to be honest. Well, like 7x my win rate, 6 or 7 or 8x my win rate. So yeah, that's what I like to do. So with saying that, it's asking me, do you have any other zones? You mentioned, so I'll say no, that's it for now. And then what about the current zone that we're in? I'll just say neutral gray, like no signal. Like it doesn't need, there's nothing there, right? So let's go over here and see what it says. But yeah, essentially going back over here, I'll go back to the weekly chart. Essentially, I am waiting for these areas to get hit before I either, the other thing, the other. So Brett saying, oh, come on, scalping every second of the day on 5 coins on the 1 minute chart while swing trading 10 other coins on the 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour chart is when the joy and real profits come. That's where the joy and real profits come from. You know what? Can't argue with you. You there, Brett. I mean, not only do we have to be scalping every second of the day, 5 coins, might as well 100x it, 10x it, 10x it, 10x it, 50 coins. You got to do 50 coins, okay? 50 coins. That's the way to do it. And then while swing trading 10 other coins on the 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour charts, no, you got to 10x that. You got to swing trade 100 coins, okay? Then you will be able to actually enjoy trading and have a very nice life and probably make $10 million if that's all you need to do. Okay. And then you could warp time, and you could start waking up the day before your competition even goes to bed. Okay. Then you can make 10 businesses. You could buy 100,000 houses and basically go into just own all of the world. That's how you do it, right? So that's some alpha for you. That's some alpha for you guys, man. You're really getting it here. So yeah, just 10x. It basically, if you're having trouble trading, just 10x it, and you'll do fine. Just 10x it, and then you'll do good. Okay, that's all you gotta. That's what you gotta know. All right, so we got this in here. As total market cap is on the dashboard at 2.52 trillion. It's showing neutral, sitting between your green zones and your red zones. You can add the 4.2 to 4.5 trillion zone and any other layers by clicking into the card and editing. So I got some more remaining. I got a few other remaining metrics to come up. So let's see where total market cap. All right, cool. They added it right there. So if I click on it, you could see I have. If it's under 1.56 trillion, just sell everything and buy Bitcoin, extreme value. If it's between 2.01 and 2.15, good buying zone. And if it goes above 2.84, that's going to be a pretty big danger zone. And I could add more and do whatever I want with it. So this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool right now. I mean, it's only 727. Should I continue on and do the moving averages? Or total 2, I could look at moving averages, and I could look at total 2 as well. Or I could just end it. I'm looking at total 2 right now. I mean, I guess might as well do total 2 because we just did total 1. And total 2 is very, very same. So we'll just call this the total market cap. We'll say these are the total market cap stream, right? And so with that, I'll put total 2 up on the chart, and the same thing that I used, for total, is the Fibonacci's. You go to the 2018 bottom to top for the Fibonacci, and then look right there at the 261.8. That's exactly where we topped out in 2021. All right. And then basically in 2024, we basically just made an equal high, which we just topped out at the highs of 2021 again for total 2. This is the altcoin market. And so with that, basically you just take the Fibonacci's and look for the golden ratios and stuff. So that's what I did for this. Let me look at this from the bottom. Let me get this one up here. I'll go to this, which is maybe this is the bottom one. No, this is it probably over here. Okay, yes, there's the bottom. So take it from the bottom right there to the top, which is essentially right here or right here. It could be either one. And the 61.8 lines up exactly to it literally, it's crazy. It lines up exactly where we bottomed out. So once again, I'm pretty if this follows what I normally see, we should continue to see move up. I am a little worried that maybe we're in such a big bear market that it just stops at the 50% fib and it doesn't go all the way up to 38.2. But I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be optimistic and hope that it goes up to the 38.2 and then, probably falls back down. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So because of that, I'm going to basically look at the lowest level that it could reach before it should turn around, and I want to be becoming very, very, very cautious, and that's around 1.15 trillion. So between like 1.15 trillion and let's say like 1.21 trillion, this is probably where I would just sell all of my altcoins. And between here and here is probably where I would look for longs again down here, and then also might as well have a yellow one at the 78.6 because I don't think that we're going to actually fall back within this range. I think that this range right here is is basically a solid, like, this is a solid floor. And then what happens, I'm pretty sure that this resistance is going to be such a massive support. So really, like, I do not see total two falling underneath this level right here, like these big resistance support resistances here. You could even actually go all the way back and see it right here, like big support, big resistance, and then somewhat of a support. I think if it does fall back down like this just has to be the bottom, like 700 billion. So we'll say, I'll just plot that out right now. I'll say like 700, and I don't want to get in at exactly 700. I want to get in like above 700, because at 700 it's like it's probably not going to be there for very long. And so I'm probably going to miss out. I'd rather like get in a little bit higher, and then maybe the coins keep on going down and then they turn around and then they do like a 50x. So yeah, I'd rather do that than try to catch what I think will actually be the bottom, which is like 700. But I'm saying, what I'm going to say is, like, this area has been such a massive SR flip zone that I believe if it comes back down here, it will be the bottom of the altcoin market. And this is where you should get into altcoins heavy. So that's what I'm putting right there at 720. So I'll put inside of here, I'll say, we can do total two now. I have a few levels for it. And then I'll click here and see what it says. And then after this, I think I'll call it a stream. I'll end the stream, and then next stream I will do the I'll do the moving averages, I'll do the RSI, and maybe I'll do another on-chain metric. And I'm also gonna be like cleaning this up a little bit. I don't know. I'm gonna be working on it for sure. But this is something that I use, that, like, this is basically what I do in my analysis of the markets every single week whenever I do it for like my mastermind and stuff like that. So I'm showing you guys, like, and building this out, because this is going to be like super helpful to just have like a dashboard, right? And then hopefully eventually one day I could have this be like an actual software where you could just put in like all of your zones and your levels and everything, and and then you could come up with your own strategies and maybe use AI to and it just be like, hey, alert me when the MVRVG score is here, and the total market cap is here, and the the RSI is putting in a bullish divergence, and you could get an alert system that, like, is catered towards you instead of the, like, what we have now, essentially. So yeah, that's the vision. So anyway, let's go back over here. Right now, total two is at 996 billion. Okay. Right now, total two on TradingView is 996 billion. And then the area that is the danger zone, that's red, where I want to look for and enter short positions and sell all of my crypto, is when total two reaches 1.15 trillion. Between 1.15 trillion and 1.22 trillion is the actual danger zone. Then there are certain buy zones. The first is between 853 billion and 900 billion. And then the second buy zone is anything underneath 720.7 billion. That area has been such a massive SR flip zone that I believe if it comes back down there, then it will be the bottom for a lot of alts. And that's where I would want to look for long setups on altcoins and blindly buy ones that I believe in. All right, so we got that down. Let's click here. Yeah, Brett. Then I need to open source it all, to everyone. Then, yeah, no, like that's the goal. It's like I want to build this thing like a big, like an actual thing that people could potentially pay for, like subscribe to, because it is obviously like this is a lot of work. This is like one, you guys are seeing like, the 1 hour a week or whatever that's being put into this, but this is like years and years of like my thought process and like coming up with things and refining stuff and figuring out the market and just like learning about trading and investing. And obviously I'm still working, like there's so much work that needs to be done, but I think it would be like a really cool thing to have, right? So yeah, let's hopefully by I'll have a good product, like a minimum viable product within, I don't know, like 6 months or something like that. And then we could test it out and, start building like the actual, like the real thing and eventually sell it or, I don't know, start a hedge fund or something like that. Right. So, anyway, looking back at total two, says clear. Here's your total two zones. We got a green zone below 720. That's the time to buy alts that you believe in. We got the green zone at 853 to 900 billion dollars. That's a good buy zone. And then we have the red, which is one at 1.15 trillion, and that's the danger zone. Look for shorts and stuff. It's currently at 996 billion, which is neutral between my buy and zone and my danger zone. And they updated it, so now I have total market cap and I have total two right there. That's pretty cool. Total two is on the dashboard under market cap alongside total market cap. Yeah, that's great. You mentioned using total two in confluence with altcoin dominance. When both line up at green, total two near, near, let's say 720 billion and altcoin dominance near 34.4, that's when you go heavy on alts. The dashboard now shows both side by side, so you could see that confluence at a glance. So I have the altcoin dominance and I have the total two. And that's very true. That is something that I use in my analysis. So obviously, total two, this right here, this is the total market cap of all of the altcoins, right? It's basically the altcoin market excluding Bitcoin. So that's what this is. So if this lines up at support and at the same time, you could see that altcoin dominance is lining up at a support, then that is your indication that altcoin dominance is probably going to start moving up because it's at a big support, and altcoin market cap is probably going to move up because it's at a big support. So altcoins themselves will be moving up, and then that's what's going to move the dominance and the market caps up. So that's when you want to buy altcoins. You want to buy altcoins when we are at the bottom. This is actually, and it's crazy. Like this right here, you could see this. Altcoin dominance back at the lows, major support, 78.6% fib, will most likely see a nice bounce from these levels again. Check total two charts and if both line up, go in heavy in alts and be a lot more risk on. I wrote this over a year ago. I wrote this. Well, I think alts dominance was like here or like here or like here. I don't know where it was, to be honest, but I wrote this a long time ago. because I literally, all that I did was I just took the Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, saw, hey, look, this is a 78.6. Okay, this is a big area. So yeah, I wanna go in, and when it hits the 78.6, and then like it did, and then like altcoin dominance went up, and that was that late 20, that was like mid to late 2025, and that was like perfect because it was late 2025 when altcoins, when the market really went up quite a lot. So I don't know, that this is just what I do, and hopefully this type of stuff helps you out when thinking about your analysis. It's a lot, it's a lot of charts, it's a lot of data, but it honestly, it's helped me tremendously. I was able to, I basically live my dream at this point. I was able to travel the world and do whatever I want for the last, since 2021 essentially. So and this is how I did it. Like this, I looked at the charts like this, and I just bought when things looked good. I sold when things looked bad, and I wasn't a bag holder or anything like that. So yeah, I'm just basically sharing with you exactly what I'm doing, and also building out this big data platform, and hopefully in the future it'll be a huge company that could be very, very helpful for everybody. Yeah. So once again, Brett, it's like years ago, I never understood the market cycles and why people subscribed to services like CoinGlass or to Ben Cohen's services for all these various stats and info. And then the light bulb went off. Exactly. And then the light bulb went off. It's because if you could piece together these pieces of the puzzle, it's really like a puzzle. And it's like every day you get a new piece of the puzzle. So it could be really fun if you like it, if you like this type of stuff, because you could look at the charts, you could look at the fundamental data, you could look at the macroeconomics, you could look at the everything. There's so many things to look at, so many different data points that you could come in, and it's like what you have to do is you have to learn about the data points. You have to bring in the different metrics. You have to test them out, and then you have to decide like, oh, hey, I like this one, but I don't like this one. I like using this, but I don't like this. Like I personally, I used to use like VWAP. VWAP. I used to use. Is it the VWAP? The volume profile. I used to use volume profile. It was like on the side of the screen, and it had like these huge bars that would just like come out and show you the exact like areas. I would use like a lot. I used like a lot of indicators, like the awesome indicator, the ultimate indicator, like all of these different indicators. If you go on TradingView, if you go to indicators, you could see technicals right here. Like these are the indicators that TradingView has. There's thousands of them essentially, or at least hundreds. And you could use all of them, right? But I used to use zigzag. I used to use a lot. But then I just realized, hey, look, like I know ones that I want to look at, and like I want to narrow it down. And what I did was what I did was I created a cheat sheet, like a cheat sheet checklist. I'll just share this really quickly because I had it on my screen anyway. But yeah, I created this like trading cheat sheet checklist. And it's literally it just goes like this. It just goes like, is the price at a major support or resistance level? Yes or no? And you check it off. Are you trading with the trend? Yes or no? Check it off. Is the price at the golden ratio? Is the price at either an order block or a breaker? That's also within the value zone. Is the price near a major support or resistance trend line? Is the high time frame price action bullish or bearish? Is there a certain chart pattern on it? And I basically just like went through I just go through all of these like when I'm trading, and just like check it off, and then I know like what grade to give my trade. Like do I give it a A trade, or do I give it a B trade or a C trade or whatever? And I look at the TA, verify it's good with TA, and then determine the market structure, and just all of this stuff. This is actually this became like a really big document, but essentially yeah, like that's what I do. So I'll go back to here. So, like I said, Vatican Pope asks, "Are you bullish or bearish today?" Today, and I will look at this, and I will tell you, I am leaning more bullish. I am more bullish now than I was before because, first off, if you look at the weekly chart, this candle right, let me, this candle right here that happened on March 2nd, this is a very bullish candle. Okay. And then not only is this a bullish candle, but the candle right next to it is also a very, very bullish candle. So if you get these two candles in a row, that's like super bullish. And then obviously, if we go down to the lower time frames, we have been, first off, we broke above the big resistance and stayed above it. So it's no longer a fake breakout. So before, right here, this was a fake breakout, and then we fell back down. So that was super bearish. But now that we broke above it, and then we stayed above it, right? Like that's bullish. That's more bullish, right? And then the other thing is that we have been making high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Okay, I'm not honestly like right now, this is a little bit bearish. This is sort of bearish. I'm not gonna lie. This is sort of bearish. Just the fact that we did close underneath here. I'll zoom in a little bit more. But because we did close underneath here, like after, like making the higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and then we closed underneath there, and then we got a rejection, and then moved back down. This does confirm that we're back into like a lower time frame downtrend. However, I don't know. I'm still optimistic that we're going, if we do end up coming back down, that will probably bounce from 73 to 74K, which is this big, big resistance, fake breakout, resistance, and then support. So like this is a big support. This is a big support right here, right? And then yeah, Brett, exactly. And then I think that will come up here, and then I think we'll get the big rejection. All right. So right now I'm like very, very, very micro bearish, but like I'm still pretty bullish for like I'm still bullish for the next couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know, 2-3 weeks. We'll see about that. This might happen in literally like actually like just a week or two. Like I don't know. But yeah. So Brett says it is dashboards like this that you're build for yourself to give you the alpha that makes sense to your trading style and times that create your edge. So you have the key details to trade your style. 100%. Exactly. You figure out your trading style, and then you just and you figure out your edge, and then you just keep on refining it. And then, you could manually continue to trade, or you could do what, I'm doing right now and build out a dashboard. I think like we have AI, like I'm trying to utilize AI to the best of my ability. And, if we have these new technologies, we might as well utilize them and use them and try to figure out, try to use them to better our trading, better our edge, right? And get better alerts, everything. So that's what I'm doing, and this thing, hopefully, and this thing, like I said before, the goal is to make it so that everyone could use like this and put their own edge into it, or like create their own edge and figure it out, and then get alerts and everything like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be pretty sick. It's like really stoked, and this is like $1 billion. This is like $1 billion company, So we'll see if this not if, we'll see when this pans out. Because if it doesn't end up making $1 billion, I'm pretty sure it's going to sell for at least a few hundred million. Because I mean, if you've seen some of the stuff that has sold in the crypto markets for hundreds of millions of dollars, you would be flabbergasted. You'd be like, what the hell is this, right? But this thing, I think this thing is like, obviously, like I explained it, like it's very useful. It'll be very useful for everybody. Peter John, there's always daily volatility because you never know what Trump is thinking and where he'll put or what he'll put on Truth Social. Yeah, man, that is very, very, very true. But the thing about stuff like this is that what I noticed what I noticed is that if you plot out the levels beforehand, then typically what happens is Trump or someone will Trump will tweet something or something crazy will happen, okay? And typically the price, jumps up to the sell zone, to the zone that you plot out earlier, or it falls down to the zone that you plot out earlier for the buy zone, and it gets bid up or it gets sold off from those exact zones. And so that's a higher time frame. 1 second. I almost ran out of battery. On my, I forgot I unplugged my laptop, but it's plugged in now. So hopefully you guys could still hear me. But yeah, that's what I've noticed is that the news, and I know I watched a different trader on the Coin Bureau on this channel, actually, their live stream, and they were talking about this earlier too, basically saying that everything is in the charts and that you can the charts tell you what the news is going to do, or like, because there's always going to be insiders, right? There's always insiders that know everything. So you could, on a low enough time frame, if you go to like, if Trump says something absolutely diabolical, right? You could go to the 5-minute time frame or the 10-minute time frame maybe, and you could look and you could see some bullshit. You could see some stuff that happens, like really weird, just like really, really weird stuff on the charts right before an announcement. And I've seen this happen a lot of times before, but of course, that requires you being right in front of the charts 24/7. Although it would be pretty cool to have some type of software that looks for anomalies in the charts, and then like sends you alerts or like auto buys or auto sells or something like that based off of what it sees on the charts. Like, basically, I don't know, maybe you could look at like every major, like big major announcements, and then just look at the 5-minute chart, like for an hour before the announcement is, comes out, and then just like see what is the chart doing, and then create like patterns with those, with what's happening, and then basically basically yeah, like create some type of database with it, and then if something like that happens, then I don't know, there's a million things, right? There's so many things. That's what's cool about trading, and that's what's cool about this about markets and finance and stuff. It's really unlimited, the amount of things that you could think of, right? I know people that make money on the 5-minute chart. I know people that make money on the weekly chart. I know people who take 2 trades a year and make money. I know people who, trade every single day that make money. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, okay. So, and available to everyone. Yeah, now, and like Brett says, it's available to everyone now with vibe coding. So, yeah, like that's true. So that's why and I'm showing you guys, I'm vibe coding essentially. Yeah, not essentially, like that's what I'm doing, right? So yeah. Look, I'm gonna keep on building this. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm going to be doing this every single week now. So this was every other week, but now it's going to be every single week. So there's no longer the FUD and FOMO show. Very unfortunate. I loved the little intro that we had on the FUD and FOMO show. It was great. But that just means that I'm going to be doing this every single week instead of, alternating. So yeah. I think that's going to be good. I think we're good for this week. So I will catch you next week. Probably the same time, maybe an hour later, maybe like an hour later. I might have to switch it to be like an hour later. I don't know. We'll talk with the team. I'll talk with Guy about it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. If you have any recommendations on any type of metrics that you want me to add to this indicator, or you want me to look at, or any coins that you want me to chart, let me know and I will chart them. Just not this stream, but like next stream. And I'll just do it. Oh, right. An hour later will clash. So maybe not an hour later. Maybe I'll have to do it now. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Peter and Vatican Pope and everybody else. Really appreciate you guys. All right. Peace out. See you next time.